everybody, my name is Ashley. I'm going to be your safari guide here today on the Honorary Wildlife Reserve. Now, first things first, before we go to do anything too fun out here, we do need to make sure everybody's playing things nice and safe, which means I need everybody, and I do mean everybody, to be sitting down, remaining seated the entire time, with your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the truck at all times. Not out, not put in, not sometimes, but all the times. That way we can have a safe and fun time out here. Now, while we got the important stuff, we can talk about some fun stuff too. We can use them hand in hand, because above your heads there is an animal spotting guide above your heads. We'll probably see at least one of them. At least one. And it might be a pelican, and I'm down. I like pelicans. Now, we should have some pretty good luck out here today. I've been having some pretty good luck out here myself. Now remember, even if you haven't been out here before, just a little bit of a heads up, the reserve is a giant game of peekaboo. For the most part, a lot of the animals will be trying to hide from us. They think it's funny. But also loud noises do tend to startle them. So the best way we can ensure to see as many animals as possible is just if we simply use our inside voices. You don't have to be completely silent. I know we're gonna get excited, I am too. But just use your inside voices and make sure we are not calling out to any of them, as this is their home and we are just simply visiting. Now, in the Little Honorary Forest, a lot of the animals are going to hide here more than in other places, simply just because the vegetation is so thick. The animals that love to call this area home, they will use all this thick vegetation to blend into their surroundings, like the okapi on your right. Now the okapi, they're really good at playing peekaboo. Until 1901, Western explorers didn't even know they existed because they'd never seen one and they thought it was a mythical creature. They're like, sure, next you're going to tell me there's Bigfoot out here too. I totally believe you. Now everybody looks at the okapi weird because they've got zebra pants on. They don't. If anything, they're not even wearing pants. Scandalous. No, they don't have, though they do have black and white stripes, just like this greater kudu here has white stripes that are vertical on her side. They use these stripes to just simply blend in. If anything, the okapi's only known relative is actually a giraffe, not a zebra. A little bit different there. Now this greater kudu, I said specifically she, as these two do not have horns. Of the greater kudus, only the males have horns, and their horns can average about 6 feet long, just their horns. So it's definitely a couple of girls hanging out. Now on the right hand side, there is a nest up atop this hill. In that nest, you might see a little beak popping out. There's a saddle-billed stork sitting up there. Now that saddle-billed stork is actually 5 feet tall. So it's just sitting in that nest right now, but when they stand up, they might be taller than some of your little ones. And now they can be about 5 feet tall, but they also have a 9-foot wingspan. What that means is when they spring out their wings nice and wide for everyone to see, their wings are just about as wide as this truck, if not a little bit bigger. In fact, I actually do see one walking around just up ahead, so we should be able to see them in just a second. It's on your right-hand side still by the water. Pretty birdie. On the left-hand side at the top of the hill, there's some reddish-brownish antelope up there, those curved horns. Now these are bongo. Bongo have those curved horns no matter their gender, unlike the kudu. So they use those horns as they are curved to help them weave their way in and out of all this thick brush. But as to not get them tangled on anything when they might be trying to make a speedy get through these trees, they will just tilt their chin nice and high to the sky so those horns can lay nice and flat along their back. Now, if we keep on going, we're going to head on our way to the Safi River. See, already we've seen more than one. Woohoo! Now, around the river, everybody's got to come down here because they need to stay hydrated. Everybody's got to drink their water, especially as it's getting sunny out. They might come down for a quick sip or a quick dip, or they might just sink to the bottom. But we are playing peekaboo after all. Now, I do see some pink-backed pelicans, so I was right. Now, during mating season, the males will show off their pink backs and be like, hey, girls like pink, right? Right? I mean, Valentine's Day was recently, maybe it worked out, as flocks of them can find anywhere from a couple of mated pairs to a couple hundred mated pairs of pelicans in one flock. Now, I did say sink to the bottom, as a lot of animals that like to hang out in this area of town, they can't swim, so they sink to the bottom, where they walk, run, skip, and jump along the bottom of the river floor. The animals I'm talking about, they do know how to float. So they will float up to the top every 5 to 8 minutes. Those are animals called Nile hippos. Like this one here on your left-hand side. Take a little bit of a sunbathing. Well, there's actually 6 of them.
Oh, yeah.
Sit down, sir. Yeah, you thought I wasn't watching? Always watching was out.
Always.
Always.
Now, usually with hippos, they don't come out during the daytime. They can, absolutely they can. They can do whatever they want. But a lot of their time out of the water, these experiences will be at nighttime. Most of the day they will spend at the bottoms of rivers, but at nighttime they are known to come out of the water to start foraging for grass and things, as they are herbivores, so they do need to eat. So they'll do a lot of eating at nighttime, sometimes even traveling miles away from their preferred river to find the best food sources and then coming right back. Now around this corner is the savanna. A savanna by nature is known as being a wide open grassland, so it should be easier to see. But you never know until we go. Now the savanna is the largest part of the reserve, so with more land comes more opportunities for browsers and grazers to be munching through this way, if we're lucky, and so far we have been. Now around here, the savanna has a lot to go around. Some of the tallest, the smallest, and familiar faces could be lurking up here, and that's definitely where this animal spotting guide we've been using is where it's going to come into play. If there are any wilderness explorers, you might need to use your book to help you complete badges today. Just saying. Now I can already see a bunch of stuff going on. Now the first thing you guys might see is this baobab tree. We love the baobab tree. Now I know it looks a little funny. It's big, it's bulbous, it looks like it has no leaves. That's because it doesn't. A lot of people joke that it is the upside down tree because it looks like the roots are hanging up in the air instead of its branches. No, it's just a little naked right now. They don't have leaves for about 9 months out of the year, so 3 months they do. You actually can see a fully bloomed baobab tree at Disney's Animal Kingdom, but you know it as the Tree of Life in the middle of the park. Now, they are known as the Tree of Life, even though they look kind of barren right now and not so lively, because inside that massive trunk is tens of thousands of gallons of water. So the savanna can get quite hot and quite dry, so if an animal can't find a watering hole quick enough or soon enough, they'll actually just go to the nearest baobab tree and either poke a hole in the trunk of that tree or they'll chew the bark off. So that way the water can come flowing out of those trees. Make an impromptu watering hole. Now, the thing I saw from the top of that hill, besides the tree, was a Maasai giraffe. It's almost impossible to miss a giraffe out here. They've never known a short day in their life. I heard a giggle, but I'm not kidding. They start off as a 6-foot-tall baby. Day 1, they're already 6 feet tall. So they're so big that their mom can't even lay down or recline to give birth to them. She just has to plop them out. But then they hit the ground, and within an hour from that, they are up and walking around and doing their thing, and they're perfectly fine. What a way to start the day.
Yeah.
Now on the right hand side, first things first, are these Ankole cattle.
Gotta be tough.
Now they're showing off those big horns, because why wouldn't they? Those horns actually have a good use, and not just to show off. Those horns are completely hollow inside, made up of a honeycomb structure like the inside of a beehive, which helps them cool down on a hot day. So it is like wearing an AC unit built into your head, which is really nice. Now, hanging out with that Maasai giraffe, you can see it is no longer a baby. It's averaging right now about 16 to 20 feet tall there. Hanging out with some Hartman's mountain zebra. Now, as we get closer, I do see some more zebra too, but take a look at their stripes while we're at it. No two zebra in the entire world have the same stripes. It's all completely different, all completely unique, just like a thumbprint. Even in a very large group, known as a dazzle of zebras, it can get kind of confusing. So they'll be looking for those stripes, be like, yeah, you had that double stripe on your ankle. I knew you were my cousin. We go way back. I just had to make sure. Because you also look like my aunt. Now on the left-hand side, there's a couple of more creatures out here. Wildebeest to be sure, but also some sable antelope. The sable antelope, they have those horns that point backwards, if you see. That's going to help them out for, you know, defensive maneuvers. If anybody's trying to get them or try to scare them from behind, they simply will reach their heads back and poke them off. Like, poke, poke, stop chasing me. Poke, poke, stop biting me. Until they get the point to just leave them alone. Or I'm sure they use them as a really good back scratcher. Now, on either side of us, there have been these wildebeest hanging around. We'll probably see them a bunch. Wildebeest, they're the locals of the savannah. They're the annual pass holders. They come around here a lot because they have the second largest population of any land animal. Humans have first place. We're everywhere. But second place goes to the wildebeest. They even tracked a herd one time that had over 1.5 million of them traveling together. Family reunion. Now, while we've been checking out this Maasai giraffe, I saw two more walk the other way. So I'm like, let's go follow them. Because I'm like, where are you going? Yeah, they're over there. I see them. Now, this one we've been interrupting here. You're like, oh, we interrupted their snack time. I kind of feel bad. Don't. Do not feel bad at all. That's probably not first breakfast, probably second breakfast, if not 11's or luncheon or tea time. They are the hobbits of the savannah. They eat about 18 hours a day. They eat more than anything else during the day. So, it's like going to Epcot, you know. That foodie guide dropped this morning. Now, they will eat and eat and eat, which does not leave a lot of time left over for sleeping. It's because they don't. Not really. The average giraffe only sleeps about 30 minutes a day. And it's not even one 30-minute nap. It's a couple seconds here, a couple minutes there to get it into their very busy schedule of eating. Now on your right-hand side, a little hard to see. If you look towards the tree lines, there's some little tiny antelope there with the little white bellies. Those are called springbok. Springbok, they might be tiny, but they are in the top 10 fastest animals in the world. What they do, it looks like a really big bunny hop. They can just jump 6 feet straight up into the air like a spring, just boing, or 13 feet forward. Pronking is when they do it at the same time, so it's 6 feet up, 13 feet out. Looks like a really big bunny hop, but it can help them reach speeds of 55 to 60 miles an hour. So they're tiny, they're getting around. But if you look to your left-hand side, even more giraffe. Now, this is probably 4 or 5 now that we're on too, so this is a group known as a tower of giraffe. I'm sure you can tell why. Now that we were talking about eating, they're using that world's longest tongue there, giving that tree the old... Make sure you're sitting down back there and not walking across the roads. Now, that tongue is prehensile, which is just a big kid word that means they can use it like a hand. So even though sometimes they can average 20 feet tall, sometimes the tree branch they want to eat off of is 22 feet tall. So they'll just use their tongue to help them out for the rest of the way. Bueller. 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 Oh, well, there is somebody. There's an African elephant all the way up there.
Am I in the back?
All the way up there. It's playing peekaboo. I told you. Now, it's flapping its ears, which is one of two things. It is either waving, just like we wave to say hi. Sometimes they say elephants flap their ears to wave at each other. Or it's simply just trying to cool itself off. And I'm going to assume it means that they're cooling themselves off, because otherwise it means they're waving at a rock. And maybe it's a really nice rock, but I'm going to assume it's the latter. Now, I say that because if you got 2 big fans stuck to the side of your face like that, you're going to use them to cool yourself off. African elephants are the largest land animal in the entire world, and their ears are just as big. So they will fan themselves off that way, but also, if we were closer, you would see that those ears, that they're very wrinkly. They're not wrinkles. They're very big, very full blood vessels. And if you can get your blood pumping enough, it can help regulate your body temperature and help cool yourself down. So something as simple as them flapping their ears can cool them down about 15 degrees Fahrenheit. So while in the sun it feels like 80, 85, if they're only at like 70, I'm jealous. That sounds very nice. Maybe look to your left-hand side, there's Steven. Hello. That one's a little bit better of a view, but I do see more up ahead. I see at least 3, 4, maybe more. So I'm in luck here today because this means this is a female herd. Seeing one by itself like earlier, that's a very good case that it's a bachelor, a boy. The boys live a bachelor lifestyle with the females. They hang out together in big groups with all the moms, daughters, cousins, nieces, aunts, and of course, Grandma. Grandma's in charge, just simply because she's old. Now, in elephant world, that is a good thing. And not that it's a bad thing in any world, but it's especially a good thing because elephants have very good memory. So if you're the oldest, that means that you know the most. So they're all gonna look to you and be like, Grandma, I'm hungry. Where's the best place to get some snacks? And Grandma knows. Grandma knows everything. Even that little baby one there. See, that one looked more like a wave. That one looks more like a wave. Now, just like we were talking about the giraffes using their tongue like a hand, you can see that the elephant uses their nose like a hand. Because that's all that trunk is. It is just a very long nose, so they need it to breathe. But they will use it as a hand to grab onto their snacks, help them with drinking water, like the end of a straw. But also on a very sunny day, they will throw dirt, mud, and clay onto their backs and ears because they have very sensitive skin like we do. And so they're very prone to sunburns. But they don't have sunblock. But they do have mud. And they have a lot of it. So they'll spray anything they can get their little chunks on onto their backs and ears to try and cover as much surface area as possible. Now, looks like this watering hole has also gathered the attention of some greater flamingo. The greater flamingo, they are the lightest shade of pink of any flamingo. When they're first born, they're not even pink at all. They're just this fluffy little gray and white little dude. But then after a couple years, they start to get bigger, they develop more, they turn into this pink color that you see here. A group like this is known as a flamboyance of flamingos. So if you see some that are not as pink yet, they're still just kind of white and gray. They're not babies anymore, I think more juveniles, more teenagers, and they just need a little bit more time to develop until they become pink like everybody else.
So many hours.
Now around here, the vegetation is going to pick up a little bit. So you're going to be reminded that we're still playing peekaboo. Which is all fun and games until you look at these trees next to us and you're like, I don't know. And then there's just two eyes staring back at you. Maybe belonging to those white rhinos. Now there is one with their head towards this way. I'm going to tell you right now, it can't see us. But if you look at those ears are rotating, which means it can hear us. I say that simply because white rhinos, while they are a very impressive creature, they don't have the best eyesight. It's not like blind is a bat level, more like I forgot my glasses and everything's just a bit blurry out here. So they can't quite see what's going on, but they use their ears that rotate in any direction to listen into what's going on. They can weigh about 4,000 to 5,000 pounds, and they still can run 35 miles an hour, which is really good for rhinos, but slow for cheetahs. The cheetahs on your left-hand side, they are averaging about 60 to 65 miles an hour, and they are the fastest land animal in the entire world. There's about 3 of them just sitting there. They're in the sun, you know. They're still cats. They still sunbathe. Just like the 2 up ahead over there in that corner, they're in the sun as well. Now cheetahs, they are the fastest land animal. They can run at speeds of 60 to 65. But here's the catch. They can only do it for a couple of 100 yards. Only for a brief couple of seconds before they're like, okay, I'm tired now. I need a cat nap. Just give me 5 minutes. And that's okay. For the most part, they are just resting right now, probably trying to recharge all that energy from their mid-morning zoomies. But they are awake right now. Cheetahs are diurnal cats. They're awake during the day and they sleep at night, just like we do. But everybody needs a cat nap. And I do see the queen of cat naps with her little head poking up over there on that Kopi rock. If we make a Yui, I think we might see her pretty little face. The kings and queens of cat naps, in my opinion, will always be African lions, because they rest for about 18 hours a day. Look at that little ear. It's so cute. Just a little ear. But there's her pretty face, both of them. There is a male by that tree, right in between them. I can see his fluffy little mane well with his ear too. Now those two, they are in charge of hunting, so I'm wondering what caught their attention. Watch it be a butterfly. I love it. Now, they do rest about 18 hours a day, which is a cat nap I wish I could take. That male sleeping right there, completely oblivious, makes total sense. His job is to watch the house. At the middle of the night when they're at their full activity level, it's going to be completely dark out, he's going to watch the house. He's going to look after it while the ladies go out and do all the hunting. The ladies, the lioness, are in charge of getting dinner. Hopefully not these little warthogs though. They're just too cute. Now warthogs, they are indeed in the same family as domestic pigs, but you will not find them on any farm. They prefer terrains like this where they can make those little holes in the ground, their burrows. Think of them like little apartments. Also on the right hand side is another view of those white rhinos, but there's also a water bug staring this way from the tree lines back there, just in a little patch of sunlight. Now the water bug is a fluffy little brown antelope. They have a heart-shaped nose, which isn't an educational fact, it's just a cute fact that they have a heart-shaped nose. But their name is waterbuck because they do not migrate. They hang out by water holes like the one we passed through. They found out most of their predators do not like the water more than those who do. So if they feel threatened in any way, they will simply just jump into the nearest body of water and swim away. They've been doing this for so long that their fur has adapted to it, and their fur actually has an oily sheen on it that makes their fur almost completely waterproof. So perfect for swimming. Now around this corner is the Magadi Glen. Now the glen here is home to the Warden's Post. A little home away from home for them before they head back home to the village. But it is somebody's home. Because with conservation comes cohabitation, learning to live together, but how to work together as a team. Like with these Nigerian dwarf goats. Oh look, they like to tailgate. And I sure do looks like they know how to raise sheep. Nah, they're just hanging out with us right now. Because it's just a little example of cohabitation. Because when they live with us, we give them food, protection, everything they need to live the best little goat life possible. But they do give back to us as well, as they are dairy goats. So that way they can give us milk, so that way we can make dairy products, help sustain ourselves while we're so far away from the village. It's going to take us days to get back there. Or about 2 minutes. Now, we live happily with those goats, but it's just one of very many examples of how conservation can help a species. Even animals like black rhinos, in 2015 there was less than 5,000 left in the world, which sounds like a big number. It really isn't. It's scary low. However, in just the last 10 years, there are now more than 10,000 black rhinos in the world. So it's still low, but that number has doubled in a relatively short amount of time. And that's just one species alone. Even little things like reducing, reusing, recycling, little things that you do at home even. And thanks to the internet, social media is a huge factor in that now too, because even from home, you can go online to organizations like SaveTheElephants.org or the Disney Conservation Fund that help animals everywhere, not just here in the reserve, but everywhere internationally and globally. So it's really fun. Even here at the park, at any merchandise location, you can make a donation outright. Big or small, they will match them all $1 per dollar at the counter. They will give you a badge to let everybody know you did your part to help animals today. But also, as well as that, maybe you're like, I don't know. Sometimes you just want a stuffed animal. And that's okay. Because some of the stuffed animals, blankies, and other merchandise look for the Disney Conservation tag. Because if it has that tag, know that the money is going to the Conservation Fund too. Now here in Harambe, we do not like to say goodbye, as goodbye is simply just too sad and too final. So instead of goodbye, we say kwaherini. Kwaherini translates to mean go well, as in go well until next time, go well until we see you again. So kwaherini, everybody, and have a